My name is Andre Martinez. I'm an artist, musician, craftsman. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. I started painting since I was in grade school. I'm basically self-taught. Self-taught musician, self-taught artist, I like the experimental, I like trial and error. But I come from a family, all my aunts are painters. My father was a master craftsman. My sister's an artist. So art was sort of a kind of a natural thing. It wasn't like something, I thought about as just something we do, just like my daughters do. I'm a hard worker, so I'm used to working my whole life. I'm 61 now, and it hasn't changed since the day I was 17, and it probably won't change till, if I make it to 90, it's gonna be the same thing. There's no such thing as retirement in my program. You call upon deceased spirits or artists, because their spirits are out there roaming the earth. And I choose 5 of them. And I say, today I could use your help. And I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to imagine you flowing inside of me. Let me be the instrument to do this pieces, The concept comes from music, It's diving into the unknown and developing the idea as you're going along step by step, beat by beat, stroke by stroke. That's really the technique, that I utilize when I work. But then again, most importantly is paying reverence to a higher power. 2,000 years ago, 500 years ago, all artists created for a higher power. And that's one thing that is very, very important to me. My work is always done with the intention of pleasing the higher power. Aside from the art influences, the music. John Coltrane. That's spirit. That's spirit in its purest form. Take the spirit of John Coltrane, invoke it in your art. That's magic right there. And these are the different things and the different passages I try to, unravel in my lifetime. And then ponder the universe. Because it's the universe where I really focus, or the bottom of the sea where no one knows about. Those places fascinate me. Everything else, it's okay, I enjoy it, it's beautiful, but I like the mysteries in life. That's what I go for when I paint. I come from a family of craftsmen. So I was always around craftsmen. Either my father was building something. He was a master builder of houses too. So, of course I was 16, 15 years old. So I started restoring brownstones in Brooklyn Heights since the early 70s. And I'm still doing it today, 2016. Most of my work, it's always involved custom work, either custom finishes, custom bathrooms, plaster work, carpentry, tile, design. We do all phases of construction. Restoration's a totally different trade. The idea for restoration for me is to go back to how it was day one when that house was presented to the new owner. That's a true restoration for me, to bring a house back the way it was originally built. Through plasterwork, through carpentry techniques, through flooring, through staining, through finishes. It's a wonderful thing to restore a house. Building is much easier than restoring. Restoring is hard, but it takes a lot of time and technique, and these are all the types of talents I like to incorporate into my paintings. When you're used to doing an entire project and then you get to a canvas, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I could deal with this. I was the percussionist with the Cecil Taylor unit from 1980 to 92. I was studying with Beaver Harris, and he had invited me to a Cecil Taylor concert. And back then I was into rock and Weather Report and Chick Corea and Return to Forever and Yes and King Crimson and all these great bands. And then my teacher invited me to go see Cecil, and I was like, wow, this was a pretty heavy experience. I mean, maybe a bit for me to absorb at that time in 1979. But anyway, a few years passed, I'm back here at the Village Gate, and I ran into Cecil, and I said, I know you. He said, I know you. I says, yeah, you're Cecil Taylor. My drum teacher, Beaver Harris, played with you. He said, yeah. I went to basically audition at his house on Union Street, his apartment. And next thing you know, I was playing with the big band at a place called Lush Life in the Village. And then from there on, you know, we started touring the world, and you know, as a quintet, a sextet, octet, 11-piece band, 12-piece band, big band. During those years, you know, we played all around the world and throughout the United States. We went to Japan, to Brazil. You know, we made 3 albums. We did the Burning Poles video, and we've been on countless videos and documentations from all the different performances. We did the New England Foundation tour as a trio, and that one got Cecil Taylor the MacArthur Award. You know, we played in, you know, major places like the Berlin Philharmonic, the Théâtre de Paris. When I was at that time, I was totally in the zone. And I was blessed to be able to be in the company of many, many brilliant musicians. In the year 2000, I formed the group Earth People along with my close buddies, Doug Principato and Jason Kamler. We are, you know, free experimental jazz avant-garde orchestra. Sort of my homage and continuation of my work with Cecil Taylor. And I was able to incorporate some wonderful, legendary musicians in the band, and we've been together 16 years now. We have 6 albums, and we don't play as often as we do, but whenever we do play, it's a very, very special event. You know, we've gotten a lot of, you know, really good critical acclaim, you know, during those years, so that was really wonderful. But you know, each individual in this band is they do so many things on their own with different projects, with different, you know, groupings and stuff like that. So when we get together, it's kind of like 16 leaders coming together and forming, you know, music. Sometimes we'll sketch out ideas. Sometimes we'll be adventurous and do something like the Brahms Violin Concerto. We experiment with jazz, with funk, with R&B, with Latin, with Brazilian and world music. You know, we incorporate all different types of ingredients in our music and have created, you know, the Earth People sound. But I would like to mention in 2004 to 2010, I ran the Henry Gregg Gallery, which was a very prominent gallery in Dumbo, and actually helped establish Dumbo as an art destination. And we were pretty renowned throughout the world, and I produced like 40 incredible art exhibits there and featured a lot of great artists from all over the world, and including photographers and scientists. And you know, I still keep the website up as for historical factor, and you know, people can, you know, go and visit henrygregggallery.com, and they will see the, you know, the shows we produce there. In 2016, we formed a group between four new buddies of mine, Justin Franco, Corey Choi, and Annette Norgard. And we work on original material, mostly written by Corey, and it's been really great. It's been really great going back to my rock roots. And we get together almost every week, and working on, we have 10, 15 original compositions, and the list is growing, and it's just been a whole new community of musicians working with some young musicians. It's been really a lot of fun for me. We live in very troubled times right now, and my paintings are my sanctuary, my hope for the future, for myself and my children and my future generations. If you go back in time, because art, for me, is endless. I mean, the pieces I make, I'm not making them for today, I'm making them for generations to come. I mean, that's how when I paint, I feel like it's part of your story. I don't make a painting that I don't believe is going to make the wall of a museum or something, Truly in my heart, I paint like it's going to be like the last time. Same thing with music. I've done concerts all around the world, and every major theater, many of the major theaters in the world. But I look back at each performance and I say, wow, that was good. But it's because of that attitude I developed, that whenever I do something, it's got to be for a lifetime. That will never change, And if you develop that attitude, then whatever you do, it's for real,